Welcome to another Hang Loose Recluse production. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the Freedom Media WA live coverage at the Perth City Library as the Drag Queen story time reading to kids from 2 to 8 year olds took place. There was a bit of a protest in Perth City on Wednesday afternoon. And, you know, all these thoughts go through your head about what I would say if I was there being interviewed or whatever, or what I'm thinking of, what to try and make it make sense as such. Now, this subject is very sensitive, even on this platform, because, you know, it could be considered taken the wrong way or offensive to a certain minority or whatever, but we're not trying to offend anyone in this video. I'm taking it easy, all right? But what I'm trying to say is the people that are organising this event, they're saying there's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing wrong with it, there's nothing wrong with it. To get drag queen bloody story time read to their kids. Now, that's a specific thing that people can do, that's their choice, whatever. But the thing is, now that they're resorting to doing this worldwide in libraries, it's a new thing. So people have got to expect that people are not going to be too happy about it, because there's a reason why. I wouldn't want my daughter to be influenced by any of that type of stuff and the books that they read or whatever. I don't know what books they read. I'd be interested to know what sort of stuff do these people read to the kids. It is in a public place, being a library. Any random person can just walk into that library not knowing that it's going on. Now, are these story time drag queen stories being read out in a separate area, like a closed room, or is it just out in the open that anyone publicly can walk in and be subjected to that? So any kids walking in can or will be subjected to what's going on there. Now, the difference between them doing it at their own private venues or the venues that support all this sort of stuff, it's public, okay, but they're business venues, so they're venues that cater for this type of thing. But being a library, it becomes a public library that everybody uses. Now, difference between being a patron of a pub or whatever, that's the big difference. The difference is I could just walk in there with my daughter not knowing that that's on, and she would be subject to it, and I'd have to do a lot of explaining and all that sort of stuff. So what they kind of are doing is putting it in the kids' faces to make them question stuff at a young age, to make them, I guess, conditioned. That's what it seems like. Is that the case? Is that what's going on? That's what it feels like potentially could be done? Now, with all this stuff that trying to normalise it in society, normalising it, yeah, okay, they're going on about acceptance and all that, but acceptance is already there. But you people, be who you are. Do what you do. You don't need to read a story to our kids in a library. You know, I don't think it's acceptable when I'm walking down the street and I hear people swearing as well. I don't like that behaviour. I don't appreciate that. So I don't appreciate people talking badly if I'm with my daughter. I really do not appreciate it. I'm offended. I would be the same way offended if I walked into that library and there's a drag queen in scantily clad drag uniform reading to kids. Are they going to use their provocative type of terminology for the kids? How do they word themselves? How do they distinguish themselves from reading to a bunch of kids or being an adult entertainer as such? So basically, these people are adult entertainers. It's sort of like saying, okay, let's have a porn star read to the kids. Does that work? No. I think it's on the same level as having a porn star come and read to kids. That's just, no, you just don't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tolerate that. I'm going to be offended by that. So if I walked into that library, basically the end of the story is that if I walk into that library and they are there, I'm going to be offended and try and remove myself from that situation. Now, I'm not going to make a scene and cause chaos while I'm there because I'm there with my daughter. I'll just back away from it. But the thing is, I shouldn't have to be worried about coming across that sort of stuff, just like I shouldn't have to be worried coming across people that are swearing badly, because anyone that's swearing badly, and I don't approve of that behaviour in public, will be handled with accordingly if they continue on and on and on, or members of the public will step up and say, keep your mouth shut, mate, which is what happens as well. So it's a double-edged sword here, but I believe that they can go and do this in their own other venues that are kind of public if people want to go to them, but not the public bloody library. The public bloody library is a bloody sacred place, and we should not be having to subject random walk-ins with your kids with drag queens reading books. I don't want that at my local library or any local library. Do it in your own spaces. Do it in your own places. And the public library is not the space or the place for this. No. Well, if we're going to do this, why don't we get serial killer story time at the local library and see how that goes down? I'm sure it won't be acceptable. So it should be in the same category. It's a taboo subject. It's about morals and showing some respect in front of my children. Thank you. It's not that we're saying you're not acceptable in society. None of that. Equality, each to your own, whatever, but just not in the public library, please. Please do it somewhere else. I don't want to walk in and see it. Thank you. But no, thank you. Expect outrage. Of course it's going to happen. I'm out of here. This has been Hang Loose Recluse. That's just my 2 cents on all this, seeing the Freedom Media video, and I just felt compelled to do a video on this, and I might use Freedom Media video in the background, but if you want to check out the full live stream video, you can find that at Freedom Media WA. It's a live stream there, and I'll put the link in the description below so you can check out the full video for yourself. At the end of the day, it's a man. Someone who's born a man. It's a bloke. Do I want some weird bloke reading a book to my child? No, thank you. Does anyone want some weird bloke reading books to their kids? No, thank you. Goodbye. This has been another Hang Loose Recluse production.
And you can see in the foreground there are children present watching that. So the comment on the ABC that Cougar Morrison says that when I'm scantily dressed, that it's not in the presence of children is simply a falsity. That is the proof. That is the proof that is still currently posted on Cougar Morrison's Facebook page. So again,
Yep, take your kids to see that if that's what you desire. But if that's not what I desire, you need to show some respect for my decisions on what I would like my child to see or not see. Thank you. This has been another Hang Loose Recluse production.